Good day, ladies and gentlemen. Today, we will tackle first about derivation. Derivation is the process or device of adding affixes to or changing the shape of a base, thereby assigning the result to a form class that may undergo further inflection or participate in different syntactic constructions as in forming service from serve, song from sing, and hardness from hard, contrasted with inflection. And the addition of derivational affix, a prefix, a suffix, and in some languages an infix is called derivation. We have already looked at the features of derivational affixes in contrast of inflectional suffixes. The addition of derivational affix to a root produces a new word with one or more of the following changes. First is the phonological change, including stress change, reduce to reduction, clear to clarity, fuse to fusion, photograph to photography, drama to dramatize, relate to relation, permit to permissive, impress to impression, electric to electricity, include to inclusive. Next is an orthographic change to the root. For example, pity to pitiful, denial, happy to happiness. Next is the semantic change, which may be fairly complex. For example, husband to husbandry, event to eventual, post to postage, recite to recital, and or a change in word class. In English, derivational affixes are either prefixes or suffixes. They may be native, deriving from Old English, or foreign, borrowed along the word from a foreign language, especially French. Their productivity may range from very limited to quite extensive, depending upon whether they are found preserved in just few words and no longer used to create new words, or whether they are found in many words and still used to create new words. We have this unproductive suffix and productive suffix. An example of an unproductive suffix is the th in warmth, with, depth, or dwelt, whereas an example of productive suffix is the able in available, unthinkable, admirable, or honorable. But which affix attaches to which root is always quiet, arbitrary, and unpredictable. It is not a matter of rule, but must be stated separately for each root, as example in a dictionary. That is, derivation is part of the lexicon, not part of the grammar of a language. Other prefixes change only the meaning of the root, not its class. Prefixes fall into a number of semantic classes in English, depending upon the meaning that they contribute to the root. Note the difference between privation and negation. A privative prefix expresses the reverse of an action, as in undo, or the absence of equality, as in amoral without morals. Whereas the negative prefix expresses not, as in immoral, not moral. The semantic classes of prefixes in English is not an exhaustive one. Other semantic categories would be needed to classify all the prefixes of English, such as completeness, reversal, or subordination. Furthermore, some prefixes may fit into more than one category, express what degree and a place. Prefixes may often attach to more than one part of speech. In semantic classes of prefixes in English, the after, in, over, and on are native English, while pre, inter, super, and mini are Latin, while the tri, the the micro, and anti are Greek. For example, for the after is the aftershock, afterthought, afterglow. For example of over is the over anxious, overconfident, overdue. And for the example of the Latin in pre is the prearranged, presuppose, and preheat. And in inter is the interconnect, interbreed, interlace. While for the super is the super sensitive, super saturated, superheat. And for the mini is the miniskirt, minivan, mini-mall. And for the Greek, for the tri is the tricycle, triannual, triconsonantal. And for the micro is the microchip, microfilm. For the anti is the antisocial, antitrust, and anti-war. Suffixes have two functions. First is to change the meaning of the root, and next is to change the part of speech of the root. Those changing meaning alone include the diminutive suffixes, the ling, the let, and the y. The feminine suffixes includes the ess, the it, the rix, and the ine, which for social and cultural reasons are now falling out of use. And the abstract suffixes, making an abstract noun out of a concrete noun, in which the sheep, the hood, or the ism. More often, however, suffixes change the word class of the root. The suffix may produce a noun from a verb or an adjective, such as suffix is called nominalizer. This constitutes the largest set of class-changing suffixes. A highly productive nominalizer is the adjective suffix, which is the er, which may be added to many verbs to produce agent nouns. A suffix which produces a verb from a noun or an adjective is called verbalizer. Which produces an adjective from noun, a verb or another adjective is called adjectivalizer. And the smallest set of class-changing prefixes is the adverbializer. Another adverbializer in English is the old inflectional possessive ending with s in nowadays, nights, once, and thereabouts. The formation of complex words is not always entirely predictable or regular. For example, the EIST is typically added to common nouns and occasionally to proper nouns. The structure of modern English. For the word non-smoker, as you can see on the picture, there are two comparisons. The first derivation and the second derivation. The reason that the second derivation is impossible is that one must be able to stop at any point in the derivation and still have a word of English. The second derivation produces the noun word non-smoke. Look at the two possible trees for informality. While neither derivation produces a noun word, the reason for preferring the second derivation in this case is semantic. Informality means not having the quality of form and is related to the noun form. The prefix is negative. It is not related to the verb in form, which does not contain a negative prefix, compared to the following derivations of information. Again, there are semantic reasons for preferring the first derivation here, since information is related to the action of informing, not to formation. And now let us proceed to another topic, which is reduplication. So what is reduplication? Reduplication is a process similar to derivation, in which the initial syllable or the entire word is doubled exactly or with a slight phonological change. In English, reduplication is often used in children's language, like for example the boo-boo, toot-toot, choo-choo, or for more humorous or ironic, the goody-goody, rara, poo-poo. Three different kinds of reduplication can be identified. First, the exact reduplication, the papa, mama, goody-goody, so-so, hush-hush, never-never. Second is the ambulant reduplication, in which the vowel alternates while the consonants are identical. For example, the crisscross, zigzag, ping-pong, tick-tock, flip-flop, mishmash, wishy-washy, clip-clop, riff-raff. And the third one is the rhyme reduplication, in which the consonants changes while the vowel remains the same. Like say for example, helter-skelter, hodgepodge, fuddy-duddy, razzle-dazzle, boogie-woogie, nitty-gritty, roly-poly. Recent reduplication have been formed with two meaningful parts, for example, flower power, brain drain, culture vulture, or heart smart. And now, Conversion or functional shift. A functional shift is the conversion of one part of speech to another without the addition of a suffix. It is sometimes said that the zero derivational suffix is added, since it is usual for derivational suffixes to change the part of speech as discussed. The only concrete change that may occur in a functional shift is a change in stress. The following kinds shown on the screen is the kinds of functional shifts can be found in English. Less common kinds of conversions are a preposition to a noun, which is ins and outs, an adverb to a noun, which is whys, whereofs, the hereafter, or even a prefix to a noun, the pros and cons. Once a word has been converted, it can normally take the inflections of the new class. For example, two rounds telephoned, they're tied. What happens semantically when a word is converted may be quite varied. For example, in the verb to noun shift, an action is treated an object or a thing, though the emphasis may be on the action, the result of the action, or the person performing the action. Note that with such shifts, actions become easily countable. The noun to verb shift is perhaps the most varied, as the verb may denote the thing which is moved to a location, or from a location, or the location to which the thing is moved, on or from which is moved. It may also refer to the instrument of the action, the time of the action, the place of the action, or the range of the action. Gives the equative. The shift N to A express the quality associated with some entity, while A to N treats a quality as an entity and hence quantifiable. It is often difficult to know in conversions which is the original or basic form and which the converted form. Sometimes semantics or morphological modification will offer a clue. When the noun is primary, the verb necessarily includes the meaning of the noun. Thus, the butter toast with margarine sounds odd because the converted verb butter includes the meaning of the noun. Similarly, to garage the car in the shed is not entirely natural. However, to anchor the ship with a rock or to comb one's hair with one's finger is acceptable because the verb is original and the noun derived by conversion. What do you think in the case to hammer the steak with a rock? Is the noun or the verb original? Another distinguishing feature is the regularity of inflection. Converted forms will always take the regular productive inflection, never a remnant or irregular inflection. For example, grandstand, highlight, or high stick may be either nouns or verbs. Since the past tense forms as grandstanded, highlighted, and high stick, we'd conclude that the verb must be derived from the noun. Otherwise, the past tense would be grad stood, high lit, or high stock. In contrast, the past tense of deep freeze is defroze, not defreezed, and thus the noun must derive from the verb. Stress changes accompany the conversion of phrasal verbs to nouns and adjectives. The primary stress on the particle is lost in each case. Another set of converted forms show a different stress with stress on the first syllable, prefix, of the noun and the second syllable, root, of the verb. Note that the unstressing of the syllable may also lead to reduction of the vowel. A special kind of functional shift is what we may call commonization. A technical name is onomatopoeia, in which proper noun is converted into a common word. A proper noun naming a real or fictional person or place, tribe or group may undergo commonization to a noun. Verb or adjective often with no phonological change. In other cases, however, a derivational suffix is added to convert the noun into the appropriate part of speech. So, classmates, friends, I hope that you have understand what I am talking here. And if you have some question, if you have some clarifications, you can comment down below or you can private message me. Thank you for listening and thank you for learning. I hope you have learned a lot today. God bless us all. This is Joandre Arcilla, your reporter.